On this Lukaku thing is the contrast and the reaction. I thought last year, we all discussed it on here, was pretty shameful and absurd, the reaction from the club. This year, they're saying the right things, that they want to go and they want to isolate the people who did this and identify them and make sure they don't come back. They did it. I thought if you read both statements, if you're bilingual in Italian and English, the Italian statement makes a lot more sense than the English one, which looks like it was put through Google Translate with all the words sounding weird but awkward, which is disappointing. But because this is a global thing, right? The whole world is watching Cagliari. Let's hope that they follow through. And I know this is a complicated issue, but the responsibility for this, for the punishment, lies with the league. Lies with the federation, and we need to hold them to account. But equally, it's critical that the clubs do more.
Yes.
I don't want to hear it was an excuses. I want to hear no, not all, no, but why are you attacking all of Sardinia or all of Cagliari? Nobody's saying that Sardinia's, no sane person.
Which was in the statement, totally unnecessarily.
Yeah. No sane person thinks that Sardinians are racist. As a group, every Sardinian or every Cagliari fan or Cagliari as a club or the majority of the Cagliari fan base.
Nor do these events only happen in Cagliari.
Nor do they only happen in Cagliari, yeah, exactly. But what's unacceptable is you have a small minority of people who are there, because they're your fan, because they're behind a goal, they represent your club, and you need to go and you need to take action. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think, I would have loved to hear something from Giulini, the president, who has not covered himself in glory in past comments. There wasn't something in this. The statement
He retweeted his club statement.
He retweeted the club statement, all right. I think a thing, just to sort of, on what you were saying about how this gets handled, the thing that's relevant that maybe people don't know is, the Italian Football Federation have observers at games, and certainly from what has been reported about this one, again, somehow these observers have not made an official note of this. Now, it's there, as you said, there's a video from the Curva that's very clear, so there's no avoiding it.
But just to defend them for a second, not that I wish to, but Antonio Conte was asked about it straight after the match, and he said he didn't hear anything either.
Yeah, but he's focused on the game. Yeah. It's not his job to go and listen what's happening in the Curva. I mean, I spoke to people in the press box who didn't hear it either. I think that's entirely, but if you were watching on television, you heard it.
Yes.
And most importantly, Lukaku,
the players heard it.
The players heard it.
That's the most important.
But just, it's relevant because that may affect what comes down in terms of the Federation's punishment, because the Federation has its own set of overwritten rules, which were overwritten in part by the last President Tavecchio, who, as we know, has said some off-colour things himself when it comes to...
Well, I want to make sure, Tavecchio overwrote the rule or had the overwritten rules. I don't think because he's got some racist plan, but simply because he's pretty incompetent and not very intelligent.
Yes, fair. I agree with that.
The rules themselves, if they were applied properly,
if they were just applied.
But that's the thing. Now, because no one has written any official reports about this, it does limit what the justice can do to punish Cagliari. Now, that's just why it's happening. I'm not saying that it should be what happens. I think they should be, because at this point, they're not doing enough. You talked about it last time this happened, and you were right. The club should be taking more responsibility to get rid of the people. If they're saying it's a small number of individuals, take more responsibility with this video evidence that exists to get rid of them. But if they're not doing that, then the Federation should be doing more to punish them. And the reason that's not happening is because there's this whole chain going on where if it's not getting reported, then the federal justice won't punish them harshly enough, or at all, as happened last year. And then the consequence is nothing happens and everyone goes through the cycle again.
Here's an idea for Mr. Giulini. Tommy, if you're listening, something I would like to see, and if you really want to make a statement and actually gain more kudos for your fight against racism, what I would suggest to him is I go back to this idea. People say, well, closing the stadium doesn't work. No, it does work, and it doesn't eradicate the problem on its own, but it does limit it. And the key thing, I think, is this, right? The people who are in the Curva, 3,000-4,000, the vast majority of them were not participating in it. I need you to do more than to sit there and not racially abuse Romelu Lukaku. I need you to be willing to report. It doesn't mean go and point fingers and be like, oh, look, there he is.
No, but we have smartphones, take pictures.
Or even without the taking pictures, they have facilities here at many grounds here in England. I think at the Juventus Stadium too, there's an ability where you can send a WhatsApp or a text message and you can say, oh, okay, that guy there with the yellow shirt and stuff and the pink hair is racially abusing, and then the stewards step in. So what I would do if I were Giulini, I would say, listen, next time it happens, I don't care if it's one person, it's two people. I need you, my fans who care about Cagliari and their image, to go and report this. Otherwise, we will voluntarily shut down the Curva Nord for one game. In fact, you can even shut it down now. In fact, even right now, Giulini, just say, I'm going to shut the Curva Nord down if people don't come forward with first names and last names and tell us what you saw.
But he's much better at just going on Twitter and saying all the right things.
He doesn't even go on Twitter. He hides.
Exactly. I mean, we've had this issue from 2010. Samuel Eto'o didn't want his family to come watch him in Italy because of stuff that he suffered. Since 2010, whether it's a Twitter apology to, sorry, Matuidi, if you heard anything, if being the most annoying and frustrating word to use on your Twitter account, when you're apologizing, that is not the word that you use. And it's, we've had this from him since how long now? Whether it's been Sally Muntari being sent off and his red card suspension not overturned. We've had this now forever. It's been 9 years minimum from what my memory serves me, I don't know whether or not this is what I want is a genuine commitment, and that's a great plan, and the rules are all there. Are they all going to be applied?